Would that be funny?
You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
No.
Can you whistle?
I can normal whistle.
Oh, what was that whistle you were doing? Because you sounded like someone just struggling. Let's try to recreate the whole intro we already did.
I'm trying to do an elk bugle.
Okay. You kind of just sound like someone who can't whistle but wishes they could.
It's true.
You sound like maybe an elk bugle way off in the distance.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's usually where they are. Except for when I drive by them in Warrenton the other day.
So that's what an elk sounds like?
I think so. Isn't that weird? Like, you wouldn't think of an
they
elk
do
making...
when they're yelling at each other.
Is that like the female elk saying, hey, it's go time?
No, it's I think it's the male elks
saying, hey, it's go time?
Mostly saying, hey, it's go time. Yeah,
Okay.
Stay away from my area, you stupid man.
Oh, so it's more of a signal for the other male elks to stay away.
I think so.
Okay.
And the females.
It doesn't sound menacing, though. They should growl or something. Like, "Rrrr,"
Daniel's not putting enough menace in it. I feel like it's pretty menacing.
Okay.
Like, it's like this is a big animal making a big noise.
You can hear it from a long ways off.
Yeah.
Like, I can make it loud enough so you could hear it, you know, around your general vicinity.
The one that Daniel's doing is like a couple miles away up the valley.
That makes sense. Yeah, that checks out. All right.
Okay, Daniel, go 2 miles away and then whistle, and we'll see if we can hear you.
I don't think that's going to work out very well.
No, he already
for me.
is 2 miles away. He needs to come 2 miles closer and do it again.
Daniel, come 2 miles closer to us. Well, this is The Scrimmage.
Yes.
I'm Justin Domashevitz.
I'm Daniel Hargrove.
And our trusty producer, Andrew Gross, is here with us
My
as
camera
well.
isn't working.
His camera isn't working, so you can't see his
It was
beautiful
the
beard.
sacrifice that we made.
That's
So
we
the
had some
microphones would work.
technical difficulties, but the best producer in the business fixed it. We are brought to you by Ole Penn Real Estate and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz, no relation.
What's the A stand for?
And I think let's just kick it off. Let's go with the 2-minute drill.
Let's go, huddle up! Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation, 44 seconds, handle all the wrap. Gun do right. 3 jet Buckeye, don't worry.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
25th ranked Washington ended 6th ranked Oregon's college football playoff hopes on Saturday with a 37-34 Husky victory. Daniel, as a Cougar alum who has been a Beaver fan since birth, whose side are you on?
You know, I was actually trying to figure this out the other day. It's an excellent question.
Thank you.
I just find myself going at the Ducks losing. It makes me really happy.
Yeah.
But I think had the shoe been on the other foot, is that a saying? That sounds like a saying. Had the Huskies been 6th ranked and trying to get into the playoff and the Ducks beat them, I think I would have gone So I'm pretty sure it's just whoever's doing better. I'll root for the other one.
I'm with you there also.
Go Beavs. Go Cougs. The Portland Trail Blazers dropped to 9-4 on the season with a 117-112 loss to the Dallas Mavericks on Saturday. Justin, should the Blazers fans sweat the loss, and should you watch Maverick?
I don't want to watch Maverick. Now that I think about it. Top Gun was made in 1986, and I don't really want to go back and watch a movie that came out when I was 1 year old. I don't think that the...
Sorry, that's a song that's in Top Gun.
Okay. And you didn't know the words to In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins.
Yeah.
That's
Is
a
that
little
who that is?
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can go with Highway to the Danger Zone.
I don't think Blazers fans should sweat the fact that their team just got Luka Doncic has been incredible to start this season. He went for 42, 10, and 10 while also shooting efficiently from the field against the Blazers in this game. Also, this was the last game of a 6-game road trip in which the Blazers went 4-2 while not having all their players because of injury for the beginning of that road trip. Also, Jeremy Grant dropping 37 points is a really good sign for the Blazers going forward, needing additional scorers besides Dame. So no, do not sweat this loss one iota.
He's looked good, Grant has.
Oregon State Beavers men's hoops started their season with wins over daunting opponents Tulsa and Florida A&M. Daniel, where do you expect the Beavers to land in the Pac-12 standings this season?
You said daunting opponents. I was like, oh, who have they played that I haven't seen?
Florida A&M, bro.
Oh, Florida A&M. Yeah, that's not Texas A&M. That's yeah. Ever since Ethan Thompson's left, it's been rough.
Yeah.
I'll be excited if they end up in the middle of the pack.
At least they didn't do what Oregon did and lose a game to UC Irvine.
Ugh. 3 Pac-12 teams are ranked, though. UCLA is number 8, Arizona is number 17, and Oregon is number 21, although that might be coming to an end. But, I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting come basketball season when it really gets full swing, because right now it's just kind of The North Carolina Tar Heels football team jumped up a couple of spots to number 13 in the AP poll after a 36-34 win over another garbage team on Saturday. Justin, your Heels started the season unranked. Are they really the 13th team in best? Are they 13th best?
I mean, it's kind of indisputable when you beat teams like Appalachian State by 2 and Georgia State by 7 and Miami by 3 and Duke by 3 and now Wake Forest by 2 and Virginia by 3. Like, how can you keep saying that they're not? No, they're not the 13th best team in the country.
Football?
But they do have a man on their team.
A man.
Who's a man among boys.
He's with boys.
And should be in the top 2 or 3 for Heisman consideration right now. And Drake May, who just passed for 400 yards, rushed for about 70, and accounted for all of Carolina's touchdowns, except for 1. So I believe in Drake May. And I believe, because I heard it on the Dan Patrick Show, there's going to be like a dump for Drake or whatever the tanking metaphor will be, that Drake May next year will be the quarterback that everyone's trying to tank for.
Wait, this upcoming draft?
No, next year. The next year they'll be trying to tank to get him in the next draft because he's a redshirt freshman, so he has to play one more year of college football.
Quake for Drake.
Quake for ooh, I like it.
Or the
I
what's
hate
his
it
last
already.
name?
I
May.
hate it already.
Get Slayed for May.
Ooh,
I don't know. I couldn't say Slay for May because that sounds too positive.
yeah, it sounds like you're trying to win. Lose all day for May.
There you go. Yeah, that's a little long, a little clunky.
A little clunky.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Do we
with
have the
something.
Broncos pick next year too?
When you say we, you mean like our show?
No, yeah, our show. I want to draft Drake May.
Yeah, I think it was just one. Wasn't it one first round pick?
April
It was
Fools
2
for
first-round picks.
Mayflower.
Oh, it was 2 first round
But
picks.
I think it was this last year and next year.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah.
that's how they ended up with Cross.
Yep.
Shoot.
Because they got that. Yeah.
Darn it. So we won't
So
be
the
in the
Seahawks
running.
will have to tank next year if they
Yeah.
want to go all day for May or lose,
I mean, they already had
lose all
Gino.
day for May.
So could you say April Fools for Mayflowers? No.
no.
Wouldn't
I
it be
hate
April
It's
showers?
awful.
Though?
April Showers for Mayflowers. That works too.
But also, football season is over by April.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to workshop this. You know what? There's no bad ideas when you're brainstorming.
Really?
I learned that from Imagination Movers.
What? I don't know what that is.
Really?
Will I know what that is soon?
Imagination Movers. You gotta think about imagination move. Does
My
that
son
help?
hasn't started watching shows yet, so
Oh.
I still know like the kids' shows from when I was around, like Magic School Bus.
When my now 16-year-old son was in preschool, his favorite show or one of his favorite shows was Imagination Movers, and I loved it so much that we actually took him and his cousin to see Imagination Movers in concert in Seattle.
Whoa!
It's a great show.
Great. What? It was good live too.
Yeah,
See, this is the thing people need to know.
yeah.
Yeah, Imagination Movers.
You're welcome.
Were they like movers, as in like people moving people from different houses?
No, they
they were
made your
movers?
imagination move.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk about the Blazers really quick.
Okay.
I feel like most people don't care about North Carolina or Oregon
What do you
State.
mean?
Or the Blazers.
North Carolina's a pretty PNW-based team. It's the only thing people in my house talk about.
The Blazers.
I don't even believe that.
Jeremy Grant, the first couple of games, I think I texted you and asked, is he booty? Because he's not good. And now he's amazing.
Yeah, well, you know the thing
And
is-
he's more than I thought he was. Like, he's
Yeah.
he's shooting from the outside well.
he's shooting 46% from three-point range.
Dude, if he has any semblance of this for the whole season, I got to tell you, this is the most complete Blazers team I've seen in a long time. Especially if Shaden Sharp continues to grow. Because he's shown some flashes.
I just wonder if he'll be ready at some point this season. Like, is he going to be he was so raw.
Yeah.
Like, he was not only really young, like one of the youngest players in the draft, but also didn't play college basketball.
Yeah, I wish he would have played last year.
But a freak physically.
Although if he would have played last year, he probably wouldn't have fell to the Blazers.
Good point.
Right?
Because
Like,
he was the number 1 ranked player in his recruiting class.
Yeah. So
we may be a year or two away from really seeing what Shaden Sharp is capable of, but I think
but I want it now.
I agree with you in a sense, because I think you have up and coming players, but like you're looking for these guys to step up
This year.
So like you need Jeremy Grant to be he's young and developing, and it's reasonable, but you need him to be a better version of what he's been in the past.
Yep.
You need Ant to be a better version of what he's been in the past. You need Nurkic to be Nurkic.
Yeah.
You know what you can expect from him. Be healthy.
You need Dame to be healthy.
Yeah.
You need Nurk and Dame to be healthy. You need Grant to be what he could be.
Yeah.
You need Ant to be what he can be. You need Shaden Sharp to grow.
Yeah. You
And
need Gary Payton III to come to be healthy and contribute defensively, especially.
yeah, I feel like if you can get Gary Payton II to be what he was for the Warriors in the playoffs last year.
Why is he the second?
I don't know.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Just
he's
go ahead.
GP2.
Yeah, okay.
But if he is what he was last year, like if he can just get back to what he was, you're golden with him, right? And then
definitely.
I would say the other guy, if Nasir Little can continue to improve, that would be a big boost as well.
And stay healthy, because he's also had some injury issues in his young career.
Yeah.
But I think flashed as like what you can expect from Nasir Little this year is to already be a really good rotational player. Like
Yep.
he should be playing 15 minutes a game and being efficient, getting rebounds, contributing in the scoring column. But yeah, I think when you look at the trio of Nurk is Nurk.
Yeah.
And he's a defensive anchor who every once in a while will give you an explosive offensive game.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the trio of Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, and Jeremy Grant, the upside of those three guys is better than the upside of any three Blazers players that they've had over the last in Dame's career.
Yeah.
That's what so when you say most complete team, I'm with you.
Yeah.
As long as those guys reach their potential.
Absolutely. And we've seen flashes.
Yeah, for sure.
You've seen the capabilities. It's not just like, oh, if this could happen. It's like,
Exactly.
we've seen it happen.
Right.
Can you make it consistent?
Can you make it consistent? Yeah.
And then you throw in, I think the perfect kind of backup center to the whole mix is Drew Eubanks. He is not only a former Beaver, played with Gary Payton too, but he's a defender who also can play offense just well enough to help facilitate and move and grab rebounds and dunk.
Is Ethan Thompson playing anywhere?
I don't know, but he should be.
How amazing would it be if the Blazers, which already has two Beavers on it, snagged Ethan Thompson for the end of the bench? You could have three Beavers on your favorite basketball team.
Dude, don't
Why
do
are
that
you
to
making
me.
this so
Sorry.
weird, Justin?
I feel like this is the reaction that Andrew has when we talk about Gardner Minshew to the Seahawks.
Yeah. Oh. That also makes me excited. Okay.
Too excited. Let's move on.
I need to compose myself.
Okay.
What's next?
My favorite part of the show.
Ooh.
Serving questions up on a silver platter where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump Daniel.
Okay, Daniel, I've got from ESPN Stats and Info.
Okay.
There is one player in NFL history who has won NFL games in 4 different countries? Who is the first player in NFL history to win a game in 4 different countries?
U.S., Mexico, Britain, and Germany, right? Are those the countries?
Yep.
So it has to be, this was the first time they've played in Germany. So it has to be a current Buccaneer. Right? Okay.
If that's your logic, then yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Okay, so I've got a guess. And it's because, didn't they used to just send garbage teams over to Britain most of the time?
You're talking about the London games?
Yeah.
The Jaguars were there a lot.
Yeah.
But that was partly because they stink and partly because their owner really wanted to capitalize on the London market. Because Jacksonville's a crap market.
Because if you can't get people by being good, maybe
Yeah.
you can get people by being the only ones.
Exactly.
But then I just had a thought. So the guy I was thinking of didn't play for Jacksonville. He just wait, or did he play for Jacksonville?
Who, playoff
No, he
Lenny?
did.
Who are you thinking of?
I know who Daniel's thinking of.
He
Are you
did
thinking
play
of,
for
are you
Jacksonville.
thinking of playoff Lenny?
Yeah.
He played
Yeah.
for Jacksonville. He got
Okay.
drafted by Jacksonville.
Okay. Well, I mixed him up with somebody else for some reason. Sorry. You know what? That's the only guy I can think of. So I'm going to go with Leonard Fournette.
Ooh, I'm sorry, Daniel. Terrible guess.
What?
That was a
correct-
really bad guess.
The correct
What?
answer, which should have smacked you in the face, is Tom Brady.
I mean, I was thinking Brady first, but I figured you wouldn't go with the Captain Obvious move there.
So clearly, I couldn't choose the wine in front of me.
Exactly.
Inconceivable.
Brady played in the UK. They made Brady play in the England game.
According to ESPN Stats and Info,
See,
yes.
that's what threw me on that one.
I mean, he's been in the league for more than 2 decades.
But how long
That's
have
true.
they been doing the London game?
Like 10 years, maybe?
Yeah, and then they do 2 a year, I think, the last several.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess at some point,
Pete Carroll was talking about the Vikings when he was a coach with the Vikings. They were playing in Sweden.
What?
Did you guys?
that's not real.
That's not the truth.
I swear,
Pete's a
he
liar.
told a story
They
about
never-
the
Pete
other
was doing his
teams.
best Jerry DiPoto impersonation
Wait,
and
maybe
just
he was.
lying.
Maybe they were playing the Vikings. Maybe they were playing the Vikings. Not he was a coach with the Vikings, but it was when he was a coach, like a position coach, and the story he told about it was that they went out the night before, or no, not the night before. They went out like Thursday night with no curfew, and the next morning the other team's quarterback was on their bus and went to their practice.
Are you sure it wasn't like when NFL Europe was a
Oh
thing?
my gosh.
What?
You
In
guys suck. I'm just
1988,
saying.
the Minnesota Vikings defeat the Chicago Bears in the first and only preseason game played in Sweden.
Okay. Pete's not a liar. I take it back. I did the Jerry DiPoto thing, and that was rude of me, and I apologize.
I will defend you and say that it was preseason.
Pete's the cheat, but he's not a liar.
Pete's the cheat.
Pete the cheat. You never heard that before?
I mean, when he was for USC, right?
Yeah, but the Seahawks also got hit with those like preseason practicing too hard violations
Yeah,
on
but is that-
multiple occasions.
Is that cheating or
It's
is that getting a
against the
fine?
rules.
That's like getting a flag. Like they got a flag. Are you cheating when you hold?
Yes.
Is that holding?
Unless it's my team.
Is that cheating or are you getting penalized?
That is an interesting distinction. No, I wouldn't say that's cheating.
Yeah, so I think practicing too hard, which is what they got dinged for, was a penalty.
They literally got penalized for being tryhards.
Exactly. They did.
They did. For people who might not have context on that, they literally had like too many high contact practices.
Yeah.
More than what was allowed by the collective bargaining agreement, so they got fined for it multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay, next question, Daniel, and I only have 3.
Okay.
Tom Brady,
That's,
who was the answer to the last question,
He's a guy.
had a streak of 399 consecutive passes
He went streaking?
without
Without clothes on.
without an interception. You know what was funny during the game? We were talking about the fact that the game was in Germany, and I was like, you know what? Tom Brady kind of looks like he could be some kind of a German villain from a James Bond movie or something. Like the current version of Tom Brady has that, and also just his expressions.
Yeah.
I feel like he could be a German villain.
What?
So Tom Brady's streak of 399 consecutive passes without an interception ended today against the Seahawks.
Where he threw it right to Cody Barton.
Yeah.
Like, you're struggling when you throw Cody Barton a pick.
Like, the only person who would not have intercepted that pass is Jamal Adams.
Wow. Wow. Is it okay to talk like that about somebody who's currently rehabbing?
The only interception that I've ever seen Jamal Adams have hit him in the face, and then an offensive player pushed it into his gut and held it there.
Yeah, he's like, no, you catch this, Jamal.
You're supposed to intercept this pass, buddy.
You need this more than I do, bud.
So anyway, that streak ended, and it was 3 short of tying who for the longest streak of consecutive passes without an interception in NFL history.
I don't know the answer to this one.
I feel like this happened fairly recently.
Okay.
I'm gonna homer out on this, Chief.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Russell Wilson.
Your homering out did not pay off. Dang it. The correct answer is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers currently holds the longest streak in NFL history of consecutive passes without an interception. Obviously not a current one because he threw 3 picks last week.
Yeah.
But he does hold the record.
He's making up for lost time.
Yeah.
Didn't
feel
Russell
like
have a
maybe
streak that got kind of close to that at some point?
Probably.
I feel like Daniel kind of outthought the room there.
Yeah.
And that some Daniel.
I have one more. It's not a question, but it's just a stat that I'm going to throw out there. You don't need the. We don't need the bed. But when I was looking through ESPN stats and info for questions for Stump Daniel, I came across this and I thought it was interesting. Washington beat the 6th ranked Ducks. That's the highest ranked team the Huskies have beaten in 13 years. So the Huskies, even though they've had, remember there was seasons recently where they were undefeated through a lot of the season. They were in conversation for the college football playoff.
They were in the college.
They were in the college.
Well,
football
I meant
playoff.
for multiple years they were in that hey, we're in the group. There was a year they were in the college football playoff. They never beat a team that was ranked in the top 10. Oh no, I'm sorry. They haven't beat a team that's ranked in the top 10 since 2018, but they never beat a team ranked higher than 6 during that whole stretch.
It makes sense because nobody ranks anybody in the Pac-12 higher than 6 anyway.
Fair point.
The Huskies probably weren't even ranked.
I think they were undefeated and ranked 4 one year.
Yeah, but they probably weren't ranked 4 until the last week.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I guess they finished undefeated.
They finished undefeated. And Georgia lost again.
I guess we'll rank them number 4.
Well, Alabama has 3 losses, but they're still number 5.
Yeah.
Quality losses.
Yeah.
Every single team that they lost to has beat Alabama.
That will never not be funny. That will never not be funny.
Agreed.
It's perfect. It's exactly how the voters think about things.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
There is a kernel of truth in that.
I've been enjoying college football season so far. I don't watch it. I watch the Tar Heels games about 50%.
Yeah.
And I don't watch a ton but highlights besides that, but I think college football season has been pretty fun so far.
It has been.
It's been a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
Alabama has
lost
2 losses.
multiple times.
And then they were really close with Mike Leach's Mississippi State. By the way, did you guys hear the sound clips from Mike Leach's interview last week?
No.
Oh, gosh. You know what?
He's gold.
We need to have a new segment on this show that's just, what did Mike Leach say last week? Part of it was he was
it just makes me feel sad.
Intentionally, comically, snorting into the microphone.
No way.
So he was doing no BS. It sounded like this. So we were out there just, and then he would just talk again, and it was the weirdest thing ever. They were playing clips of it on the Le Batard show this week. It crossed the line from where they were like, okay, this is just who he is, to he's doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
He's doing everything. He's aware of how silly he is.
But sometimes I think it's, I don't care. And
Oh,
sometimes
I
I
see.
think it's, I'm intentionally doing this to be funny.
I got you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that was anyway. I think if you guys
So-
haven't seen it, or if you at home listening haven't seen it, go look up the Mike Leach press conference because it's pretty funny.
Real quick before we get, because Seahawks is next, right?
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to bring up the Pac-12 standings because the North
Basketball or football?
football. So the North is what, you jerk.
Sorry.
No, I'm talking to my phone. Google's being mean.
Your phone's such a jerk.
Okay, it just showed me the Pac-12 South standings. Okay, dude, show me what I want to know. I'm looking at the Pac-12 standings.
Do you want to know who's on
Can
top?
you show
I want to
me?
know what the
That's Phil Collins too. Just so you know.
USC is 7-1 in conference. UCLA is 5-2 in conference, and Washington is 5-2 in conference.
Go to the North. I just want the North.
Oh.
Which is Google is failing me right now.
How did I
It's
become
being
a Phil
stupid.
Collins enthusiast this week?
I don't know.
It's kind of weird. I shamed you for not knowing that Phil Collins song.
DuckDuckGo only has all of the teams, so I can't help you.
Okay, give me
Washington's ranked over Oregon though, at 5-2.
Actually, you know what? I looked at the ESPN standings earlier, and they were not broken down north and south. Does the Pac-12 not have that anymore?
Oh, are they only going top 2 this year?
I don't know. That would be perfect. The top 2 are leaving next year.
Exactly. Stop giving me all...
It's a going away party.
Okay. Oh yeah, they do. They all okay.
I
so
have it
the
broken
North,
down north and south.
Okay, so Oregon is Utah in the North too.
Utah is in the south.
Okay, so
The
Oregon,
north is Cal, Oregon, Oregon State, Stanford, Washington, Washington State.
Dang it, Oregon State's got 3 losses. Okay, so if Washington loses to the Cougars, who's Oregon got next?
Fingers crossed, knock on wood.
Yeah. So if Washington loses the Apple Cup and Oregon loses to Utah, which is believable, and then Oregon State, then we could have UW, Oregon, and Oregon State at the top of the Pac-12 South.
North.
And North. Yes, thank you.
That would
and
be
we
weird
would-
if the Washington schools were in the Pac-12
I would
South.
agree with you, except that Cal is in
That's
the
a
north.
good point.
So
That's a good point.
But then we would have the ye old evergreen 1A situation in the Pac-12 North, and Oregon would have lost to Oregon State. But
the circle of suck. Everybody
No,
has
they
lost
would have
to
also-
everybody else.
oh no, they also would have lost to UW. So Oregon would be the man out. Oh, and then dang it, UW would have the head-to-head over Oregon State. Still doesn't work.
Stupid Huskies.
Darn it.
Daniel thought he had him.
I thought I had a shot.
Well, that
but-
was a fail.
Yeah.
So let's.
All right,
We're
I'm
going to talk
sorry.
about Seahawks, but before we do that, let's take a quick commercial break.
Dang it.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Domashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Domashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit domashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
I really need to re-record that commercial. Also, I scared the crap out of you guys,
Yes,
both
you
of
did.
you, by shouting that in the middle of
yelled it right in my ear.
Sorry, Andrew. Jeff Domashevitz has 30 plus years now of legal experience. I'll just put that out there.
You know, I bet we should ask our other sponsor if they want a new commercial as well. We should update things. And also, I need to talk to other sponsor ideas.
Yeah. Like Big Moon Barbecue, which I've just been seeing Facebook posts of
imagine?
and just drooling
Daniel's-
over
dude,
the food.
Daniel's all ready to make the commercial for Big Moon Barbecue.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Grand
though?
opening today of Big Moon Barbecue in Montesano.
Dude, I don't even care if they pay us. What if they give us like a free sandwich a week?
That might actually be more valuable than. I don't want to
No.
do unpaid sponsorships, but Big Moon Barbecue used to have a booth outside of the meat store every weekend, and their stuff is so good.
So good.
So go check out Big Moon Barbecue, and then maybe that will lead to a sponsorship for us in the
yeah,
future.
tell them that you heard about them because of the scrimmage.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Who?
Yeah.
We're all going to go there this afternoon and be
Where-
like, yeah, we heard about you from the scrimmage.
Where are they located, Justin?
They are located on West Marcy Street in Montesano,
Yeah.
right across from the old Vidette building, in the space that Pub Monte used to be in.
Wow, I didn't know that you were going to be that specific. We are nailing this sponsorship, by the way. We deserve at least a free sandwich.
Agreed. 3 free sandwiches. Wait, no, 4. 4 free sandwiches.
Yeah.
I get 2.
Oh, wait. I thought you were being nice I thought you were giving one to Johanna over there.
That was the joke.
That was a good joke.
Sorry.
That was a good joke. All right.
Let's talk Seahawks.
Let's talk Seahawks.
Who woke up at 6:30 in the morning to watch this game?
I did.
Hannah, did you? Andrew is the only one of the 3 of us who or the 4 of us. Pax, did Pax watch the game?
No.
Okay,
No,
Andrew
he
is
did
the
not.
only one of the 5 of us. Did Cucumber watch the game?
No.
Okay, neither of the dogs watched it. So of the 6 of us, Andrew is the only one who successfully woke up at 6:30 a.m. to watch the Seahawks in Munich. I tried, but I only tried my pretty hardest. So when my alarm went off at 6:26, I said nope, and I rolled back over. And then when my alarm went off again at about 7:07, I was like, I'll put the game on the TV in my bedroom at a low volume and just fade in and out and watch for a while. And that's what I did.
So I have a
Yeah.
confession.
This is his confession.
Did you just sing an Usher song?
Yeah, I did.
Dude, that's the upset of the week.
Seriously.
Andrew just hit me with an Usher lyric. Can you do more?
No.
Just when I thought I said all I could say. No more? My chick on the side says she got one on the way. That's Confessions Part 2, by
Yeah.
the way, in case you were
That
wondering.
is such a. Have you seen the music video of those things?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't there
No.
someone like hiding in the closet and it's like all sorts of messed up?
I mean,
Usher,
It's a song
Usher
about-
has been up to a lot of stuff.
the Confessions songs are about confessing that he was cheating, and then the next one is about, well, actually, you were cheating too, so actually, I'm not the bad guy. So those were, and also then the girl that he was dating got pregnant. It was pretty weird.
It is a lot.
Kind of messed up.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Let's talk about Usher for a while. I know a lot of Usher songs.
So
Weird Al did Confessions Part 3, and that's
Right.
actually the one that I know the best. so.
Gotcha. So my son every now and then will like half wake up.
And start singing Confessions.
No.
Oh.
Thank
Apparently, my
goodness.
dad also got up for the Seahawks game.
That's true. Yeah.
I also wanted to say, in my defense, I woke up to go to the bathroom,
sorry that were
and then I was laying awake, and was like, "It's almost 6:30. That's when the football game is starting." So I brought it up on my phone, and I was laying in bed watching it with like one eye.
that makes sense.
Daniel just threw a pen at me.
With the paper
Yep.
clip.
He assaulted me the way that I assaulted Andrew's ears when I shouted 30 plus in the middle of our commercial.
So my son every now and then will wake up a little bit, but just kind of make some noises enough on the monitor to wake us up, and then he'll go back to sleep.
And that's what you did?
So at 9, at 9 in the morning, my son wakes up with a, "Ah, blah, blah, blah," and I'm like, "Mm." And then I look at the clock and I'm like, oh, I bet there's still some Seahawks game left. And then I went back to sleep.
Yeah. Did you make it to church by 10?
No. I made it to church by I made it to church by like 10:45.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense
Yeah.
because I was looking for you. Like, not like actively looking because I don't do that, but like
Yeah.
kind of scanning the crowd. Like, I like to look around when I'm there and see
Yeah.
who's there that I know.
go?
And I was like, oh, I guess Daniel didn't make it today. So now it kind of makes sense.
No, we got there after worship and after announcements.
Okay.
So I've started a thing where, like, before we would just call it quits, you know, if we were like, oh, too late today.
Yeah.
But now we've been like, no, you know what? If we're late, we're late. Who cares? We're just going to get there when we can.
Show your faces. People won't even remember that you were late. They'll see you after the service ends, and you'll get all the full credit that you would have gotten if you were there the whole time.
We'll get our
Unless you
participation
make an
points.
entrance.
Yeah,
True.
we try not to do that.
Yeah, you gotta be quiet. You gotta be quiet when you come in.
Yeah. We also sit in the back, too, so that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes because you have a small child, you could even get away with hanging out by the door.
Yep.
And
You
that
can
way
even
you
make
know
an entrance as long as you have the kid. Everybody's
exactly,
like, oh.
exactly. And then you could be like, oh, I'm just hanging out by the door because just in case my son cries, I want to
Exactly.
be able to take him out.
Did you hear him during service though?
No.
Oh,
Was he being loud?
he made the person in front of us after service said, "Oh, was that Anchor? He's got such a strong voice. Good job." And I was like, "Thank you."
Is that being passive aggressive, or is that just being so positive?
I think it was from the person who it came from. I think it was being so positive.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But really, it's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, it was really funny though.
I think it's mostly just the outside of church that could come across so passive aggressive.
Yes.
But also, I think that the face that they make when they say it
Yes.
makes a difference. If
That-
it's like, oh, was that Anchor? He has a really strong voice.
No,
But if it was said very sweetly, then
it was very sweet. Yeah.
Okay.
And she said she was then encouraging him to never lose his strong voice. And
Okay.
it was funny. It was good. So yeah, I
So
think,
Seahawks
but
game.
you could learn to control it.
so I had to do my research after the Seahawks game.
yeah, like literally right before we recorded the show.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But before that, when I looked at the stats of this game, the thing that shocked me the most,
Was Cody Barton's interception?
I didn't see that till a little bit later.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty shocking.
You didn't notice that till the highlight.
Yeah. Kenneth Walker had 10 carries for 17 yards.
Yeah, he really got shut down.
Holy crap. What happened?
Rushing bad.
Their D line was playing really well.
I didn't think there wasn't any point when I was watching where I thought, "Oh man, Walker's playing poorly." I felt like he just had nowhere to go. And then they made a concerted effort also to get him involved in the passing game so that they could still have his explosiveness be an impact.
He did do well, and I feel like that was more of a second half.
I felt like in the second half they
Yeah.
adjusted,
Yeah.
and instead of, I feel like this is all I haven't looked at the actual stats first half, second half, but the feeling watching it was they had stopped running their head against the wall on their runs, and they were like getting the ball to him on like quick passes.
And from the highlights, that makes sense too. And he also had 6 catches on 8 targets, and he averaged 9 yards per catch. So that makes a lot of sense. So he was still able to have an impact. So again, it's not like he had a really bad game, but I was still stunned when I saw that.
Yeah, agreed.
Because Geno Smith was the leading rusher at 22 yards. And with how the Seahawks run their offense, it's a little surprising to me that neither DJ Dallas or Travis Homer had a carry. There was nobody else who carried the football besides Geno Smith and Kenneth Walker.
I feel like they just gave up on the run game. In the
Yeah,
second
that was
half.
it. It was
But
that they
there's no
started throwing instead.
Why wasn't there any fly sweeps? Why wasn't there any?
I don't know.
Like there was nothing else. Zero else. Was there any of the Wildcat look that they had gone to? Like
I
it
did
seems
not.
like
I don't remember seeing the Wildcat.
It seems like they.
If it happened, it didn't. It wasn't a play, like a big play.
Did they just decide to not be creative this week when it's been working all year for them to really mix in stuff? Like they ran the ball 14 times, and 4 of those times were Geno Smith.
And at
What the-
least
no.
one of those was not a planned run.
Yeah,
like
so-
there was one where he was like trying to pass and then was like, I could get the first down.
Exactly. So what the heck happened? You don't give up on it that quickly. You get creative.
Well, the Bucks ran out of a Wildcat formation, and we saw what happened on that one.
No, they threw out of a Wildcat formation, and it was the stupidest play I've ever seen.
No, there's no that Colts
Yeah.
swinging gate thing,
Dude, no.
Was more
Well, it was
stupid.
stupid.
I
They
will
passed
argue.
it.
No, excuse me. I will argue that
Really?
Leonard Fournette throwing to a 45-year-old Tom Brady with a 19-year-old or however young Tariq Woolen is, who's already got 4
Can't be
interceptions on the
19.
year.
He's probably 21.
He's probably 20. He's 20-something. But that's got to be right up there with that Colts play, Andrew.
The one
like
that was
not
illegal.
not only calling that play when you're rolling down the field, but Leonard Fournette looking out there and going, "Oh,
I
they
can
have
make
their,
it."
They have their starting cornerback out there,
The one who has all the takeaways
the
this
one
year.
with all the interceptions. Brady's gonna toast him." and a running back, is going to throw a dime.
Yeah, and then he made a bad throw, and then when Brady was trying to adjust to it to prevent the interception, he fell down, and then from the ground, after Woolen intercepted it, Brady kicked him.
But I thought that was actually so. It's hilarious because he got called for tripping.
Yes.
So it was just made it was this perfect chef's kiss on top of everything. But it was in Brady's credit, or to Brady's credit, it was probably the right move.
Oh yeah, if he doesn't, it's a touchdown.
It was. I thought it was a vet doing.
It also
the right
wasn't
thing
like
there.
It wasn't like an egregious
Oh,
kick
no.
or anything.
No.
Like he
He,
swung his foot
scissored,
hard into the balls or
like
anything.
he just
like that.
used his legs to.
You can't say scissored.
Oh, sorry.
He probably saved the game right there.
Yeah.
Because the Seahawks end up turning the ball over.
Did you think so?
That's a
I thought
scissor
Woolen
kick.
was already kind of going down.
Okay, I didn't see the highlight very well. I was watching it in a
I could be
rush.
wrong.
But if Woolen scores there, that's a huge change.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they didn't get any points out of that turnover.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the one Gino fumbled, right?
Yeah.
Gino.
Gino's
terrible. All right, we can finally make this. I'm just kidding.
His stat line was pretty good.
He played well
he wasn't
outside
the
of
problem.
that.
He played okay.
Gino wasn't the problem.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean by that.
He didn't play well enough to make up for the fact that they couldn't run the ball.
Gino did what he's done all year.
Yeah, but if they score on instead of him fumbling that and losing it,
If
then
onlys
it's-
and butts were
no.
candies and nuts, then every day would Unterdankfest.
Yes, that's true. Then it would have been Unterdankfest.
Yeah. Sorry, it was German, so I went with the Dwight Schrute
Yeah, that was
German
good.
line.
Thank you. I forgot what that was from. I was like, Unterdankfest. What is that from?
That's an office quote.
Yeah. Shocker.
Weird. Have you
Anyway,
seen that show?
I'm a little surprised that they completely
times.
abandoned the run.
Yeah.
Like, I get that they wanted to get Kenneth Walker involved, but I'm a little surprised that they never tried a jet sweep. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that D. Eskridge can do right? Like, that is his best facet.
Sometimes he catches a drag.
Yeah, maybe. But they didn't do anything. They didn't try Travis Homer. They didn't try DJ Dallas. They didn't get creative with the Wildcat. They didn't do any of those normal things. They were just like, no more running. It's a little odd, right, for Pete Carroll's offense?
It's a little odd. I think my impression of it watching it was that the running game was so stifled. You're right, where I think normally Pete Carroll, I didn't think of it in the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the running game had been so bad that it felt like abandoning it was normal. But now that you mention it, it is weird for Pete to abandon the run game in that scenario. He doesn't abandon the run game in almost any scenario.
Exactly. And it's not just like, oh, they kind of went away from it. They ran the ball a total of 14 times.
And at least one of those was not planned, like Andrew said.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now,
10
you
running
say
back
all
runs.
this, but in the second half, they scored all of their points.
And
with
that's
16.
what
the adjustment worked.
And that's what I was about to
okay.
say when Justin was saying that. It definitely led to them being effective. I'm just surprised
Okay,
that they didn't, because they've been
Yeah.
finding creative ways to get more people involved in the running game this year. And in this game, they had 10 running plays by a running back, and they were all Kenneth Walker. So not only is it a very small number, but it only one guy. It was just surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, usually we're good for at least 3 third down and 20 Travis Homer runs.
I don't know how Tampa Bay has been against the run, but I wonder. Like, my impression of those run plays was that there was just nowhere to go. Like, so
That's the way I felt watching it
I
as
wonder
well.
if it was like they didn't see. If you think they've got vulnerability on their edge, like maybe they're crashing too hard then you're like, oh, we can run a sweep to get to the outside. I wonder if that wasn't really there, and it was just that their front 4 or 7 or whatever are just
almost maybe they're coming into it going, hey guys, we're not going to be able to run the ball. We'll try it.
4th down and 1, the play fake.
Or is it possible
Sorry.
that Tampa Bay
Auto-playing
just
videos.
said the most dangerous person on this field is Kenneth Walker. Let's do what we can to bottle him up. And the Seahawks took what was afforded them.
It makes sense. And it almost worked. And
Yeah.
had Gino not fumbled, on that big change of momentum situation after the interception where Tampa was ludicrously stupid, then maybe the game's different.
That
But
play was really funny.
it was
though.
just weird having not watched the game and looking at the stat line. It's alarming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that.
I will give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Ole Penn Real Estate, because Jason Atwood was on Facebook at one point, and he posted, "Why haven't they gotten the ball to Tyler Lockett? I think they really need to get him involved." And then like 45 seconds later, Lockett caught a touchdown pass.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
Nice.
Good job, Jason.
What? Why
Thank
is
you,
he only
sponsor.
saying it once, and why is he waiting so long?
That's
to
a
say
good
it?
point. He should have said it before. And then he also should have said, "Why aren't they throwing the ball more to DK Metcalf?" Try to get him a touchdown.
Also, I know I've been hard on Cody Barton all year, but he did have 8 solo tackles, 9 total, and an interception and a pass defense today. So I'm going to say that was a pretty good day. He was behind Jordan Brooks, who had 14 tackles, but that was it. So,
That was pretty amazing. So Jordan Brooks had 14 tackles. He made a couple of pretty bad plays.
okay.
He got sauced.
He also
on one
turned
play.
his ankle pretty hard on.
Did he?
At
What is
one point,
wait?
yeah.
Hold up. What's sauced?
Like
I don't have a kid in high school. What the heck is sauce mean?
like juked really hard.
When did that become a thing?
I don't know.
What is sauce?
You're not as
Daniel's deeply offended by your use of.
in your old age. You're just not as up to date on the kids' lingo. as I am.
Apparently.
Yeah.
How does sauced make sense?
I don't know. It's such a part of my everyday life. I don't even know when it came from.
Isn't Sauce the name of somebody in the NFL?
Sauce Gardner, bro.
Is he an offensive player?
No, he's a corner.
Then why is it getting sauced?
It's not because of him.
Oh. Because Moss was getting, when you got, Randy
When-
Moss jumped over you and made a catch.
Yeah. And doing an Odell was when you make like a one-handed catch.
Yeah, but also doing an Odell was attacking a field goal
Did
net
you
for
guys
no
see
reason.
Justin Jefferson's catch today?
No.
Dude, you need to look it up.
Okay.
It was insane, and it was on a 4th and long that I think kind of saved it. They might have ended up losing anyway.
I'm gonna
But
look it
it
up.
was a 4th and long, and it was contested, and he went like straight up full extension. One hand pulled it down in a way that I thought when he went to the ground, there's no way he hung on to that, and he did.
I'm YouTubing Justin Jefferson.
Jajettas.
Catch of the year was posted 2 hours ago, and with way too many exclamation points.
Yeah.
Chucks it deep. Oh dear Lord!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Look it up if you're watching this or listening right
How?
now.
Daniel, it looks like sauced is equivalent to what we would say like owned.
Oh, that kind of makes sense. Okay, so not only did he make a one-handed catch,
You sounded so old
but
when you just said that.
what about pwned?
Back in our
Yes.
day, we would have said owned.
So not
Yes.
only was it
No,
a
they still
one-handed
say
catch,
no, but
he
kids
used
still
one
say you
hand-
pwned some noobs, though. That's still a
They
thing.
do?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
So
they're
he made
making
a-
fun of you when they say that, though.
What?
so as a little bit of a preview for the next part of our podcast, he basically pulled a Tucker Eaton, except for with one hand. Ooh. Oh, nope. Get out of here, ad. No,
Daniel, I
stop
have
it.
bad news, though. This isn't a new word. This entry in Urban Dictionary was made in 2005.
Oh, snap!
So that's
You
not a
were
new
young
word.
when that happened. Nobody just ever said it about you.
I never got sauced.
No, but did you ever sauce anybody?
Oh, I sauced people all the time.
Add it to the polls. Did you ever sauce anybody? I didn't do polls last week.
Ah.
You know what I'm going to do, though,
Would
because I
I
had some
sauce-
good
Who
ones.
Has
I'm
more
gonna,
sauce.
I'm
I
gonna
was I was about to say something and it just doesn't sound right. Sauced can sound a little creepy.
How so?
I don't know. I finished this sentence. No, I don't want to. I was what
I think that's a complete sentence. I don't know what you're talking about.
think about my normal poll opponent.
Yeah. Who has
What
more
I want,
sauce? That's what I
What
said.
I want to say, would Daniel sauce that person? Or does that sound really
No,
awkward?
no,
That
because
person would sauce Daniel.
you're the defender, so you're the one who gets sauce.
Okay,
Yeah.
so would Haley Van Lith sauce me?
Yes.
Doesn't that sound weird? It sounds really weird.
I like it.
It sounds like reality.
Could Haley Van Lith sauce Daniel Hargrove? Yes or no?
In what sport?
Basketball.
Darn it.
Peak Daniel Hargrove.
Prime-
you have to,
prime
you have
Daniel
to
Hargrove.
specify. Yeah, prime Daniel
Good
Hargrove.
call.
Well, I think that actually,
Yep.
if we're done with Seahawks talk, let's put a pin in the balloon of this.
Who they play next? Really quick.
They have a bye.
Bye.
Oh,
You get if you play an international game, you get a bye the next week.
So
most
far.
of the time. Isn't there one team that didn't have that this year?
I don't know.
I don't.
I wanna say I heard that
Did
this
they already
year.
play? Yeah, I think one of the teams that played in London
Didn't get a bye the next
or
day.
England didn't
Yeah.
get a bye.
So
Next
they
week.
play. Let me find out who they play next week, guys.
The other week, the week after next week.
Yeah, they play the Raiders next, and the Raiders are 2-6.
Oh, the Raiders are poopy poop butt soup.
Yes, the name of my fantasy team.
Yeah. You should just
And-
change your fantasy team's name to the Raiders.
Raiders,
That would work.
AKA.
So
Do we have? We don't have any Raiders fans in the fantasy league, though, do we?
Not in the fantasy.
That's the
league.
kind of thing
think
that could really
Almost every Raiders fan I know is really obnoxious, though.
Yeah, I know that's what I meant. That would be the kind of thing that would really tick
I'm just
off
thinking
most
most of
the
them
Raiders fans I
will
know.
have the same last name. So the Seahawks are 4-4 in conference, 6-4 overall. Dude, Seahawks are going to the playoffs this
Yeah,
year.
they're totally going to the playoffs.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for this portion of the show. What the heck?
We are the Scrimmage, brought to you by Ole Penn Real Estate and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz. That is my co-host, Daniel, got sauced by Haley Van Lith Hargrove.
And that is my co-host, Justin. Daniel, if you weren't so old, Toppenish.
And our trusty producer, Andrew Gross. Because I didn't come up with a nickname and I did a bad job there. Stick with us if you're on the YouTube Live. We're going to take a 5-minute break for Daniel to use the restroom. And then we're going to come back and talk about local sports and name an Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week. So don't leave. Talk it out. He's a Hoquiam kid.
You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Nom nom nom.
Popcorn's good.
This happens literally every week when we're here. There's a 5-minute intermission. Daniel gets up, goes to the bathroom, goes into Andrew and Hannah's kitchen, and shovels whatever amount of snack food into his mouth he can.
It's true.
A lot of times it's chips. Was that popcorn?
It was popcorn.
Yeah.
Hannah made popcorn last night. It's so good. No.
I made popcorn yesterday. It was in a bag already, and then I put it in the microwave.
Oh, we made popcorn. Was that last night? Or the night before? No, it was the night before we made popcorn and watched Enola Holmes 2.
Oh, I need to watch that. I might watch that with Angel tonight. Did you guys like it?
We did like it. We
Yeah.
watched it was funny. We started it really late. So we watched the first, it's a 2-hour movie. It's kind of long. But we watched the first hour and a half on Friday
Justin's like,
night.
I don't know about
That's
that.
pretty long.
Yeah. But then we
He was
watched
hoping
this.
for a 20-minute episode.
We watched the last half hour last night, and it was good. It was
I
really
think
good.
they should turn Enola Holmes into a series.
It would be a good series.
I'd watch that.
Uh,
Although we're kind of in a mode now, like since Stranger Things is on like an extended break, where like anything with Millie Bobby Brown in it is probably going to be played in our house.
she's really good.
Yeah,
Like, you know how sometimes you see people get popular, and you're like, okay, it's just because you're popular. She's really good.
she's also her off-screen persona is also amazing. She's
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah. There was multiple times during this last movie, Enola Holmes 2, where I was just like, I stopped and looked over at Courtney, and I was like, she's really good.
Yeah.
Like, and another thing that I liked is I have never watched a Sherlock Holmes thing that I did not like. Like, Sherlock Holmes is my favorite character, I think, of all time.
Okay.
This one has more Sherlock
Even
in
more
it.
than Rudy.
Yes. Get out of here.
You love Rudy though.
Yeah, I do love Rudy.
Even if it's fake.
No, this one had a little bit more Sherlock than the last one.
A little more stank on it. Sherlock?
Yeah. Is that another term for stank now?
No. I
So
feel like
once-
Sherlock has some stank though. Like a little more stank on it. You know, like that means it has a little more pop, little more juice.
Yeah, I could. So
Sherlock is all about poppy juice.
On my next football broadcast,
Andrew is looking at me like I've jumped the shark here.
On my next,
apologize.
yes, you jumped the shark a long time ago.
Sorry about that.
But on my next football
Daniel's
broadcast,
followed eagerly though, so
when either Gabe Bodwell or let's say Ty Reedinger runs somebody over, you're gonna be like, oh, at the end of that run, he really put some extra Sherlock on that one.
I like it.
You think people understand where I'm going?
No.
Thinking they'd be like, oh, he put some extra stank on that run. He ran somebody over.
I don't think. I think of putting some stank on it on a throw. Like, if you have a throw that really zips, you put some stank on it.
Some extra gas.
Yeah. But I could be doing that wrong.
A little bit of extra flat.
In fact, I believe I used that term to describe Toppenish's quarterback because when I was on the field watching it, I was like, okay, so when they went into this, okay, we're going to throw downfield thing and have lots of receivers running downfield, Toppenish's quarterback didn't do much.
Yeah.
But when they were throwing those short screens and flat routes, I felt like a big part of the reason why those routes worked so well was because he got the ball out there so fast.
Absolutely.
Like his ball had a lot of zip.
Do we want to just talk about it now, or do we want to do the local sports
local
roundup?
sports roundup.
Well, that's kind of
So
a problem.
we're going to do that in a minute. Well, let's stall for a minute.
Let's stall for a little bit because,
Andrew apparently has something on his shoe.
dude, speaking of stuff on the shoe, okay, so I'll filibuster for a little bit.
Okay.
So last night, I got to go glow golfing.
Ooh.
It was so much fun.
Where?
At Highland Golf Course.
Okay.
I'm
Golfing.
I'm not going to say that this is like an organized thing, but I know somebody who works there, and they cleared it with the boss.
Is it Ronnie?
Well, I do
Is
know
it
Ronnie.
Noel?
I do know. Yeah, Noel.
Okay.
So Noel organized some glow golf for me and a couple of buddies. And, well, he didn't organize it for me.
Glow golf wouldn't
But-
work for me because you wouldn't be able to see the ball in the woods.
No, actually, you know what's funny?
What?
It's easier to find the ball in the woods.
No.
Because it's glowing.
Oh.
Isn't that amazing?
Trees don't block it?
Well, they do a little bit, but you walk in there, and instead of like your ball, say you have a normal white ball in there and it's daylight, you can only see it if you like walk right over it.
Okay.
But say you walk into the woods and you see this glowing orb, like
It's a little
15
scary.
feet.
Could be a ghost.
It could be, or it could be your golf ball.
Oh.
Either way,
I kind of want to go golfing.
it's awesome. It is so much fun. If we do it again, I'll definitely hit you up.
Yeah.
It is the most fun. My brother came too. At one point, he said, "This is the most fun.
whenever you're ready.
This is the most fun I've ever had in a round of golf, because you're just excited when you hit the ball. So if you ever hit a good shot, it's like double excitement."
Andrew, were you a poopy shoe?
Yes. Francis says, Scheiße, I'm late. Ist nicht gut.
Ist
Did I get it good?
Or did
He
he
said
say
ist, he said est ist.
es ist not good? So he said it is not good.
You guys watch IT Crowd?
Yes.
You like the moment where Jen realizes, oh my gosh, I'm one of them? She says, Ich bin ein Nerd.
I am a nerd. The famous JFK stumble when he said, Ich bin ein Berliner. And he basically called himself a German pastry. Yeah.
I'd eat that.
That didn't work. He was
That
trying
was
to say...
before he said I'm not a cook.
Yeah. He was trying to say he is, somebody from Berlin. But
Well-
instead he said he's a Berlin pastry.
Now that we have successfully filibustered the poopy shoe,
I didn't even get to say why that brought up glow golf.
tell me.
Because Jimmy stepped in a giant pile of elk poop, and it was hilarious.
There were elk on Highland Golf Course?
Oh, according to the poop and the footprints we saw, at some point, yes, there were.
Okay, so real question.
Okay.
Well, how does elk poop look different from deer poop?
Bigger.
Because deer poop is like little pellets.
Deer poop is pellets. Elk poop is much closer to cow poop.
Oh, it's like a cow pie. Okay.
It's
That
much
actually
bigger.
makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
now that we've filibustered the poopy shoe
Yes.
and we talked about elk poo,
Yep.
let's get it going with the local sports roundup. Montesano extended its football season with a 24-22 win over Toppenish in a state opener at Jack Rattle Field, the Jack, on Friday. That's what they
What?
call it now. They call it the Jack.
They don't call it the rattle?
No, the Jack.
The throttle rattle?
Ooh, I like that. A 23-yard field goal by Felix Romero early in the fourth quarter gave the Bulldogs a 24-14 lead and ended up being the difference in the game. Jaden McElravy played a role in all of Montesano's touchdowns, rushing for 2 and throwing 1 to Caleb Ames. Montesano forced 4 turnovers in the contest, interceptions by Ames, Tucker Eaton, and Bodie Poehler, as well as a fumble forced by Jackson Wilson and recovered by Peyton Domashevitz. No relation.
What's the A? Oh, wait.
McElravy was the game's top rusher at 67 yards. He also passed for 90 yards. The Bulldogs will hit the road next week to take on top-seeded Royal. I haven't heard yet whether that game will be Friday or Saturday.
Ugh. Do we know where it will be?
In Royal.
At Royal?
I mean, very likely.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Raymond South Bend set up a huge rivalry against PL Willapa Valley. It will be RSB versus PWV next week, as RSB got a 22-7 victory over 11th seed Goldendale in a state opener on Friday. The 6th seeded Ravens rode their workhorse back, Ty Reedinger, who carried the ball 28 times for 165 yards and a touchdown. That's
Athlete of the week?
That's a workhorse performance right there. Farrell Johnson chipped in 106 rush yards and a score, and Austin Snodgrass threw a touchdown pass to Daniel Medeiros. RSB, it could be Medeiros, it could be Medeiros, I don't know. RSB will face 3-seed PWV in Montesano. Oh, this could be on Monte?
Yeah.
Interesting.
At the Jack.
At the Throttle Roddle. On, it says on at 7 o'clock on Friday.
At 7 o'clock on Friday.
There we go.
I really threw this show sheet together quickly. I'm sorry.
Dude, you do all the work. I'm not going to complain.
Montesano's girls soccer team earned a tough 1-0 state quarterfinal victory over a physical Lakeside team on Saturday
9-9
at the Jack. Michaela Stanfield scored a sliding goal in the 65th minute for the match's lone score. The Bulldogs will face top-seeded Clahoya in a state semifinal on Saturday at 3 o'clock in Shoreline, and that is the Clahoya team that knocked the Bulldogs out of the semifinals 5-0 last year.
In club soccer, Grace Harbor Gulls FC clinched the North Puget Sound League title with a 7-2 win on Saturday. The Gulls improved to 9-0, or is that 9-0, on the season with 52 goals scored and just 5 allowed. Michael Garcia scored a schmetric 4 goals and recorded an assist as well. Garcia, who is an 8th grader at Hoquiam.
The show sheet says 8th grade mister.
Yeah.
It's supposed to say 8th grader. I apologize.
Sorry, it took me a second to translate that. He's an 8th grader at Hoquiam Middle School, and he now leads the league with 23 goals on the season, yet has somehow never been named Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week. The Gulls have 3 games remaining in their league season.
And that will conclude the local sports roundup. Not a ton happening. I'm going to go ahead and shout out real quick Montesano's volleyball team.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have time to go in and get the details on it. They made it to the state tournament at the Yakima Sundome, and they ended up losing their first 2 matchups. But just the fact that they made it there was pretty tremendous, coming out of District 4 as the 3 seed after beating Hoquiam, who was undefeated entering the postseason. So shout out Montesano Volleyball. I apologize for not getting stats from your state tournament games.
Congratulations. There's a ton of those players who are like kids that I love to watch play sports because they've been on some of the basketball teams as well. So
right,
super excited that they got to go to the Sundome. Hopefully you guys will be going back. I mean, you guys,
hopefully next year.
Hopefully I'll see. Actually, I was going to say I'll see you in March. I'm going to say it's not likely that I'll be there because my wife's due in February.
Ooh.
So I don't think that I should go.
To what, Daniel?
To the state tournament.
For what?
Basketball.
Oh.
Because most likely I'll have a very tiny, tiny baby that isn't sleeping very long periods of time. Yeah. But I mean, we announced it on Facebook, so I guess I can talk about it a little bit more here. We're having a little baby girl.
Woo!
Yeah, so maybe I should go and follow Montesano's basketball team, which will hopefully be at state.
Well, what was the first thing I told you, Daniel?
You said I needed to brush up on fast pitch and soccer rules.
Yeah.
I already know soccer rules.
Okay.
I played for 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
I just forget sometimes.
I played for one season when I was 6. I think that should count for something. My coach was so mean.
Are you serious?
When I was 6 years old.
You were 6 years old and your coach was mean?
When I was 6 years old, I played soccer for one season.
Was it your dad?
No.
Oh.
When I was 6 years old, I played soccer for one season. This has left a lifetime imprint on me.
Yikes.
Our team was I was terrible, but our team was really good. We were undefeated, and in the last game of the season, we tied, and our coach screamed at us.
At 6 years old.
At 6 years old. And I never played soccer again.
That guy should never
Partly
be allowed
because
to coach again.
That guy was a tool, and partly because running is not fun.
Yeah, both. Yeah. Is it weird that sometimes I forget that I played soccer for over a decade?
No, it's not weird.
Okay.
Because you're like... But also, like,
Andrew, you can't talk when you're 20 feet
it's
from
not
the
your
mic.
Andrew said that you forget things when you get older, but also like sometimes I think when things come in from off mic it's funnier.
Oh.
Personally. But also it wasn't ever your primary sport.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's super weird that sometimes it feels odd to you.
Okay.
But it is one that you continued to play after you were done with high school though, right? Didn't you play rec soccer after high school? Or was that all during high school?
That was all during high school.
No, well, never mind then.
Yeah.
take
I
it back.
shifted to real football, which some people will say is fake football.
Okay, well, my wife says it's weird that you don't remember because 10 plus years is literally a third of your life.
That's true.
So she texted me, "It's weird. Tell him it's weird."
Tell him. Thank you. It's so odd though because there's no like real postseason, and that's kind of what I always have for the other sports is like striving for that postseason. But there wasn't a really good sports season. We got a text from
Ian is telling us that the Montesano game will be Saturday 1 p.m. at Royal, which, to be honest, is like super ideal for me because I know that sometimes high school coaches don't like to have Saturday games when they've played all season on Friday. They like to have the routine.
Yeah.
But that means that we could go to the PWV RSB game on Friday.
Yes.
And it also means that I could take photos in the daylight of this game.
Oh, nice.
I'm super pumped.
That's pretty sweet.
Thank you, Ian, for jumping in with that.
Throwing this out there, you got some kick-ass photos of the last game.
Oh, thank you.
Did you take the video of Caleb's touchdown?
No, I didn't. I stole that from Delana Anderson
Thank you, Delana.
via Caleb's mom.
Nice.
So that came to me through someone from someone else. And when I first posted it, I forgot to credit the videographer, but I did fix that.
Okay,
I
good.
edited it on our socials so that she gets credit for it.
Good. Okay, I think I must have seen it before you did that because I was
Yeah.
like, wow. I didn't
And the
know-
person screaming in the background is Delana.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So if you haven't seen that, go to our social media. You'll see a great video, such an awesome angle of
Right.
Caleb scoring his touchdown where he runs through 3 tackles.
At least.
Yeah.
And or through or around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that when I posted it, I put there's several things to note here. One is that was a really tight window throw for
Oh,
Jaden
dude,
McElravy.
that throw. Okay, for
Yeah.
a second. Okay, really quick.
Yeah.
From my angle, that throw was threaded between 3 different players' zones.
I think proven by the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from the angle I had, it like went over one guy and in between 2 others.
Yep.
And if it was a foot in either direction, it would have been at least tipped.
So number 1, thread the needle throw by Jaden. Great job. Number 2, Ethan Blundred, who was downfield, came back and made a block that sprung that touchdown. So good job, Ethan Blundred.
Yep.
Number 3, Tyler Johansson, in the background of the video, is signaling touchdown when Caleb is at the 11-yard line.
Yes.
With 3 guys all around him.
Yep.
So apparently Tyler has watched Caleb play before because he knew he wasn't going to go down easy.
Yep.
And then Caleb jukes a guy, drags a defender who's holding onto his jersey into the end zone for the touchdown. that play, the video's from an absolutely perfect angle.
Perfect.
But that play, there was so many things that I just loved about it.
Absolutely. Also, fourth thing, because I'm just going to say that had that exact play been me, I would have, like, at some point broken my ankle during it and been out for the rest of the season.
You and me both, buddy.
So, I mean, Caleb, you also didn't break your ankle. So, good job. Do we want to just, I think that's
Let's linger on this game.
Let's
for a little
linger. Let's marinate in this game for a while. This was a fun game, and it had so
many. Now I'm thinking
many...
about Big Moon Barbecue again.
Oh, now I'm hungry. I need more snacks.
I bet he uses a dry rub, too. Oh.
Big Moon Barbecue.
Sorry about that.
Can we stop on the way home? I don't know. Is it still open?
I don't know. What if we just ended the show now? And we all go. No, we got to finish.
Okay. All right. This was a fun game.
Yeah.
We both got to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I broadcast it. You helped me out with the pregame and the halftime show.
I composed myself for like 14 minutes.
I was going to say, I got to watch this game from the slightly nervous, because I'm your friend.
Mm-hmm.
I love your son, who plays on the team. I'm excited, but I also get nervous for Monte games now. But mostly excited that this turned into a close game. And it was exciting.
I wished
was
it had
blast.
been a blowout.
Exactly. And so we have different views from this. So for me, it was... I felt like Monte was comfortable. Like, the only time I was stressed out was at the end of the game and at the beginning of the game. At the beginning of the game, Toppenish comes out and goes 85 yards without one negative play. And I'm thinking, oh boy.
Was that about like a 9-play drive or an 8-play drive or something? Like it was a relatively long drive where it felt like every play kind of worked.
I can tell you exactly how many plays it was if you would like.
Of course.
It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 plays.
So it was even more than I thought.
It was a 12-play drive where they methodically went down the field and just short passes, effective runs, moved down the field. The
quarterback's passes had some stank on them.
Yeah, they had some real Sherlock going on. But they even had a hold. And even the play that they had a holding on still resulted in positive yardage.
Yeah, because it was like 10 yards downfield, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, and then Monte comes out and answers with a huge Tucker Eaton return to the 45 of Toppenish, and then three plays later, Caleb Ames is running for a touchdown. I'm like, oh, we could be in for a shootout tonight.
Right. Did not turn out that way.
It didn't turn out that way at all. It was a very interesting game. The adjustments made, and what I will say is, I don't know if Monte's defense, like if their coaching staff already thought they might have to shift, and then they were like, okay, we're going to make this change, or if they did this completely on the fly, but they made a massive defensive adjustment, at least to my eyes. You've talked to Peyton. Maybe you know more about it. But in my eyes, they made a huge defensive adjustment that basically shut down Toppenish's offense.
I mean, it was described to me as a minor defensive tweak.
That's funny.
But definitely the way that the corners and blood rovers, like the far outside linebackers, were guarding short passes changed very quickly and abruptly in a way that was because the problem was, like I mentioned, we joked about the Sherlock.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Toppenish's quarterback was able to get those passes out to the outside so quickly made them really hard to stop, because not only was he throwing him really quickly, but he legitimately had some pretty good zip on his ball. So he was able to get those passes outside in a way that was tough for anybody who wasn't right on top of them to come up and make a play. So the positioning of the blood rover and the corner was adjusted at some point to start to take those away. And for the rest of the first half, after that first possession, it worked really well.
Absolutely. And I wish you would have talked for like a little bit more.
Oh,
because
sorry.
I'm actually drawing this up. So you say it was a minor adjustment?
Tweak.
So the formation they had on defense, though, completely changed.
Right. And I think the way they played, I think it was
how
even
is that- how is that a
post snap
tweak?
movements were changed as well.
Yeah.
Like the way they reacted and their
But also
responsibility
pre-snap.
Yeah. Agreed.
So at the beginning of the game, Monte is playing what looked like man-to-man with a free safety over the top. That's what it looked like. At least that's how they were positioned. Whether that's what they ended up in, I don't know. But because most of the time, Toppenish went 4 wide, 1 running back with the quarterback. And the Blood Rover and the Blood and the Rover.
The Blood and the Rover. Blood is strong side, Rover's weak side.
They were matched up on the slot receivers. And then the 2 DBs were matched up on the outside receivers.
But
After
usually
that
the
first-
DBs play further back and the Rovers play up on the line.
A
The
little
Blood
bit.
Rovers, yeah.
Yeah. But after that first drive, the DBs were playing like back at safety depth.
Yep.
And the Blood and the Rover were playing tight, kind of in between
Right.
the slot and the wide receiver.
To
say that's a minor tweak is kind of screwing with my head, because how that is a minor tweak seems bizarre. Also, at least on Bodie Polar's side, they weren't shifting into that until after they all lined up. The quarterback would look out, and then Bodie would drop back, and the Rover would kind of shift where he was.
Right. So I would say, we've talked a lot about our local like coaching staffs and how like what everyone's strengths are and everything. I have long felt like Montesano's coaching staff is champions of adjustments.
It's crazy.
A lot of times those don't happen until halftime.
Yeah.
Had they not adjusted that till halftime, it might have been catastrophic.
Absolutely.
But that literally was like most of these guys who play. There's a few guys who only play one way starting.
Yeah.
Most of the starters play both ways. So when you think about it, you don't have time to get your defensive unit together at any point and say, okay, here's the adjustment we're going to make. So they're trying to figure out on the fly while these guys are on the field, how do I tell them that we're doing this differently? And the fact that they managed to make that adjustment so quickly in game is mind-boggling to me. And I think it's a signal of, number one, like you have players who are smart enough to instantly quickly know this is what my coach means when they tell me that.
Yeah.
And that, I think, if you're looking at the Blood Rovers specifically, that's Jackson Wilson and Caleb Hames. The corners are Tucker Eaton and Bodie Polar.
Yeah.
But you also have coaches that have, number one, studied the film enough to know what they're looking at, and number two, enough experience to understand what the adjustments are that need to be made.
Yeah.
And to be able to explain that so quickly to a player is a really big deal.
And also, I wish I had a chance to chat with the defensive coaches because also from my eye, when they were in the previous setup, they were kind of in a man-to-man. That's what it looked like. And the reason why I say that is because they weren't exploding to cover those short things. They were kind of more respectful, like, I got to make sure my guy doesn't beat me deep. And then when they shifted, the Blood and the Rover, it felt like they were running a cover 2 because they were like, it doesn't matter if they go over the top of me. That's what the guys behind me are going to do. I am going to solely sell out to covering the flat. And that's what it felt like. It felt like there was zero hesitancy, and it led to a lot of tackles around the line of scrimmage on those swing passes that were very effective for Toppenish on the first drive. So it's like, it almost was like their responsibility changed from, I have to be aware of my guy going deep, and instead it shifted to, all I have to do is shut down this area, and it helped a ton. So I don't know what they call that defense and if the free safety, like what all the responsibilities were, but it was really interesting to me because then later in the game, Toppenish started to try and make the adjustment to try and hit that hole shot on the sideline in between the flat and where that DB was, like you would see people try and attack a cover 2. And Bodie Polar's really good and jumped that route and ended up getting a pick off of it.
He did, and actually when, I don't want to like dwell on the concepts of Montesano's defense, but typically the Blood Rover will have flat responsibilities, and they don't play a ton of man coverage, like straight man coverage. Usually,
well, for some reason they were late getting to a lot of those plays.
I
on
think
the
it's
first
because
drive.
of how they were lined up and how quick the plays happen. Personally,
Okay.
but I could be wrong
So
about
the
that, and I could be
responsibilities
corrected
might
by
not
a
have
coach.
the responsibilities might not have changed, but the alignment
changed.
helped them get to their spots quicker.
From my perspective.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff that happens that I don't know. But that was the way that I viewed it, was that the way they lined up, and probably they probably had instilled in them, like, here's the importance of what you need to do. And the players made an adjustment to how quickly they needed to respond to things.
Interesting.
But in general, those Blood Rovers will have flat responsibility, and then the corners will have the responsibility of who gets past them. So defensive adjustment, coaches, players, I think share in that for sure.
Whatever it was, Toppenish looked unbeatable on their first drive,
Yeah.
and then their next 3, 4.
True. But then
Five?
Toppenish also adjusted after that.
Yeah.
And was able to figure out different ways to move the ball. I felt like this might have been the best team Montesano played this season.
I thought
Which
so.
is funny because they lost 2 games. So playing against Black Hills and playing against Tenino, I thought Toppenish was fast and explosive and strong up front.
They were good.
They were good.
They were really good.
They were a really good team, and you can look at the Bulldogs. You can look at any game, and a Montesano player who's probably being honest with themselves will say, "We made a lot of mistakes today," and they did. They made a lot of mistakes, but at the same time, they went toe to toe with a really good team, and they were more disciplined, and they ended up making the plays they needed to in the end, the explosive plays to win the game. I thought it was interesting, and to me, and I don't know how you felt about this, Daniel, because you were there for this one as well. It was reminiscent to the Aberdeen game. We have a lead. This opponent's really good. We're not going to take chances on offense. So in the second half, Montesano, like, they did try to run the ball outside, and they tried to run the ball in a lot of different ways, but they didn't do much in the second half to really try to build on the lead. And whatever Toppenish's adjustments were against their offense worked really well because the Bulldogs did not move the ball much in the second half.
Well, and I feel like, also likening it to the Aberdeen game, Aberdeen's got the dudes up front to kind of shut down the normal running game that you expect from Montesano, right? And I feel like Toppenish did as well.
I think especially because the bread and butter of the Montesano offense is crossbuck, which is a play that has down blocking from one side and pulling linemen from the other side. And the way Toppenish really pinched their defensive ends was very effective and difficult to block for crossbuck.
Yeah. And if you have the athletes and the strength to be able to do it, the strength up front and then the linebackers behind it, it can make that difficult. So instead of Monte, against lesser teams where they start to get into that more conservative offense, just run all over you, it kind of turned into a slog.
Right.
So I think that's very, Aberdeen didn't have the firepower at that point in the season to try and mount a comeback.
Well, and what Montesano was doing on offense with the twists and the stunts on defense, Aberdeen had no answer for it.
Right. Absolutely. So I really like that analogy because it did seem like they got less aggressive and their defense held and made some huge plays.
Held just enough.
Held just enough, but also, some of those plays were ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I already mentioned Bodie's interception.
Yeah. Which I thought was several plays in the making because Toppenish had thrown that same pass a few times, and there was a couple times I was like, Bodie is a couple yards away from making that pick.
And I want to make a distinction because in the halftime show, you called it an out route, but I don't think it was an out route. I think it was a hole shot.
Yeah, I think I was trying to say more like it was near the sideline.
Yes.
I wasn't really trying to. I was less describing the actual route that was run and more describing the area of the field it was in.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've been there. Not only is that a hard throw, That is
It's a long way to travel.
It's a long way to travel. It's also, as a receiver, I hate that play. Because you're getting past the guy playing the flat, and you know that a safety's running as fast as they can to try and get there. So what are you expecting?
To get blown up.
To get smoked.
Yeah.
And yet that's one of the ways to attack that defense. And in this time, Bodie, as you mentioned, multiple plays in the making where he had gotten there a little bit late. He had got there to make a big hit.
The pass sailed high when he was in position.
Yep. And then he got there in time to make the interception.
And it was a really great play on the ball.
Yep.
Because it was in when you're talking, there's a lot of players in that area too. So you're making that pick in traffic.
Yes, absolutely.
Beast mode.
Yep. Beast mode came up on defense. Really quick, Beast mode was not thrown to that much deep again. And part of me wants to say, I mean, it's two reasons. You mentioned during halftime that he has been dealing with some injuries.
I think he's good now. He had a cracked or some kind of a rib injury at some point during the season.
Caleb's really good.
And we talked about that at the beginning of the year when Bodie was catching all these touchdown passes. I was like, man, I know Bodie's good.
Yeah.
And he's a great athlete, but I had expected that Caleb would be like the number one receiver on this team. And I think as the season has gone on, maybe there was the element of the injury. Also, there was like several times that it felt kind of obvious we're going to use Bodie as what's the word I'm looking for?
Decoy?
A decoy.
Yeah.
And then do something else.
Yeah.
I think Caleb has really shown over the second half of the season how dominant he can be.
Caleb attacks the ball in the air.
Yeah.
That is something not many wide receivers do well. He times his jump very well. And as much as I love Tyler, Tyler's big.
Yep.
So what do you normally think? You think, I can throw it up to Tyler. Tyler, this is something to work on. Timing. You're a basketball player. It won't take that much time for you to get better at this. But something that Caleb does well is when the ball goes up, he times his jump very well. And he also knows when to stop and come back for it. And I think that has led to a lot of receptions that I think has made him such a more dynamic weapon than I thought he could be. I thought he was more of that possession type guy. But he's shown me that he will go up and get it.
He's aggressive to the ball.
Yeah.
He has great ball skills. And then I think the thing that I probably knew from years of watching him play is that he's actually kind of a load. He's not like really big, but he's a load to bring down. Once he gets the ball, he does not go down easy.
Absolutely.
So that was why, like, through this whole season, I was just like, I feel like there was all this buildup to what Caleb is really capable of.
Yeah.
And over the last several games, he's really been able to show it.
Absolutely. And to have that two receivers like that, the formation I loved when they put Caleb and Bodie on the same side, and then Tyler and Ethan on the same side. Such an interesting formation.
I think the thing about Tyler too is that Tyler
don't get me wrong. I don't want to feel like I'm picking on Tyler here.
Right.
He makes a ton of great plays, and the fact that he can catch a bubble screen going the wrong direction because he has to go back and get it, and then stiff arm a guy and pick up 4 yards is amazing.
Right. And the biggest part of Tyler's game is strength and hands.
Yes.
So if the ball is within a circle of him, he's going to catch it.
Yeah.
And then nobody's going to bring him down on one hit.
Yeah.
Because he's big and super strong. Yep. And I
You
think the
don't-
other thing is, like, you get kind of like a Bowser Mario Kart vibe. When
Yeah.
Tyler gets moving, he's actually really fast.
Yeah. And it's so funny. You don't normally see nose tackles playing tight end
Yeah.
and getting bubble screens thrown.
But he's also huge, though. Like, he's really big.
It's crazy.
So it's a big target with good hands that's
Yeah.
going to make a catch.
I think that we need to talk about the Malachi Eaton play a little bit because, I said
You mean
Malachi.
Tucker Eaton?
Yeah, that's his older brother, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a Grizzly.
He has a little brother named Titus, who's also a baller. Just so you know.
Yeah, Tucker is a baller in his own right, and 5'10" ish.
I think shorter. 5'8", 5'9".
I think he's listed as 5'10".
Okay.
So Let me check it here. I think you're probably right, but anyway, I'll that receiver that they had, who they kept throwing jump balls to, what 6'3"?
Probably
6'2"?
He looked huge.
He was a big dude.
Yeah.
And
like Gibson Kane size.
While yes, that's a good comp. That's a very good comp. While I think that it would have been a better catch had he come up with it because it was in double coverage. Mm-hmm. The fact that Malachi, again...
Tucker.
Golly. I'm sorry, Tucker. This is my bad. As a younger brother myself, I am so sorry. My basketball coach called me Jimmy.
I think your
for
phone,
3 straight leaves.
Also, your phone kept auto-correcting to Trucker.
Did it
so
really?
You kept, when you were messaging me, you were like, what did you think of Trucker's play?
Did it really?
And I was like, what's Trucker? And then after a couple times, I was like, oh, he's talking about Tucker.
Yeah.
Or is he talking about Malachi? I don't know.
He's listed at 5'10".
Okay.
Whatever. He was giving up at least 3-4 inches on this kid. And he goes up and makes the play, and it was a hilarious play.
Yeah.
Because it was as close to simultaneous possession as you could get without it being that.
Right.
Because in my eyes, I'm like, Tucker caught that first.
Yeah.
But right after that, the other kid grabs it, like while they're still both in the air. Mm-hmm. They fall to the ground. They're lying on their backs. And at some point, after fighting for the ball, they both just realize, okay, I'm not getting this away from you. You're not getting it away from me. So they stop struggling, but neither of them are
I imagine that going like they're laying on the ground and Tucker says to the other guy, I'm not letting go. And then the other guy's like, well, I'm not letting go. So they just lay there.
And they both just go, okay. And so they relax, but they're both holding onto the ball, like borderline snuggling with each other on the sideline, just wait. And the
Would
funny
you say
thing
it was canoodling?
It was definitely canoodling.
Yeah.
And the funniest part was, as the first official comes up and looks at him, and then looks up like, I don't know.
They took so long.
And then like 3 other officials come and they stand over them going, like, I'm sorry, but looking at the 2 kids lying on the ground holding the football is not going to tell them anything. And yet they all come over and stand over him like, yep, they both have the ball.
Well, so to me, watching it, I was like down the sideline, but had a pretty straight on view at it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really close.
Yeah.
Tucker clearly had the ball first. And so I think when all the referees looked at each other and shrugged, they were like, nah, Tucker had it first. Let's just give it to him.
Gotcha.
But that was weird. They took, I'm not exaggerating here, that was like 5 full seconds after everyone was down before they made a call.
At least, because other officials had the time to get there.
Yeah.
Like, there was literally 3 or 4 officials standing over it.
Right.
It had the Golden Tate Fail Mary vibes kind of on it. It was about the same timing.
The only thing you needed was one guy signaling touchdown and the other one signaling incomplete at
Absolutely.
the same time.
But I think they made the correct call, gave
Agreed.
it to Tucker, and it was a heck of a play. It was so much fun to watch. Gabe Bodwell was a beast in this game as well. There's so many great plays and great players in this game that I want to talk about them all, but I feel like we're running out of time.
One thing about Gabe Bodwell, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Gabe, he recovers so well.
Yeah.
So, there's a play where, Gabe might over pursue and then it come from out of nowhere to recover to the ball. Because legitimately, guys Gabe's size should not be able to be as quick and fast as he is.
Yeah.
So sometimes there will be a play where someone will just straight up get caught off guard by the fact that, oh crap, that guy ran past me and now he's back.
Yeah.
So I want to give Gabe a shout out for that. We talked about Bodie's interception, Tucker's interception, Caleb's interception, and the final thought I have on this game is the play that Jackson Wilson made to pop that fumble loose, because that was kind of a big momentum moment.
It's a huge spot
for Montesano. And also I think the way he did it, because coming around from the side with, I'm going to wrap this guy up, but simultaneously punch at the ball, was a really savvy move from a guy in Jackson. He was not a starting defensive player at the beginning of the year. He worked his way into that role. He's a really instinctive player. And I think he's been pretty impressive in a lot of instances. So I wanted to give a little shout out to Jackson.
Absolutely. That was a great play by Jackson.
Yeah.
Also, Peyton was there to hop on the recovery, too.
Yes.
So that was
He
huge.
didn't like the pictures of it, though.
Okay.
Because he thought it made it look like he did a bad job recovering the fumble because he like dove at it but didn't. He was falling down because there was all this cluster of players there.
Yeah.
And then he had to like reach out forward and then pull it in.
Yep.
So he thought it made it look like he didn't dive on the ball. And
you know what, Peyton? In that situation,
yeah,
you end up with the football. It's a good job.
yeah.
Just gonna throw that out
Agreed.
there. I know you're a perfectionist, bud, but come on.
First thing he said to me after the game when I was like, "Hey, Peyton, you did a really good job today." He was like, "Well, I made a few mistakes." Can we just be happy for a moment?
Yeah. Should we take a break before we get to soccer?
Yeah, because I need to pee anyway.
Okay. We're going to take a commercial break. We got soccer to talk next. We got our athlete of the week to get to after this as well. Stick around. We're going to be right back.
At Ole Pen Real Estate, we have solidified our foundation on 4 core values. First, we continuously focus on growing our knowledge in the market and in our practices to bring the highest level of competency to our clients. Second, we provide a high level of integrity, compassion, and kindness in every aspect of our business. Third, we put the human element above business through humor, enthusiasm, and patience. And last but not least, we proactively respond to the needs of our clients. Our mission is to create a personal real estate experience, one person and one home at a time. With Ole Pen, it's personal.
Thank you again to our sponsors, Ole Pen Real Estate and the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz for sponsoring our show. If you would like to sponsor our show, what was it, Moon Barbecue? Just throw that out there. Let us know. We would love to have you on our show. Justin is currently going to the bathroom, which, by the way, during that Montesano game, my bladder failed me. So at the end of the game, if you were listening to the broadcast and I seemed distracted, man, as soon as the buzzer sounded, I was sprinting for the bathroom. I told my producer, I was like, don't come back from commercial break till I get back, but I'm running to the bathroom right now.
That's reasonable.
Is it bad? Do I have an irrational fear that I'm going to tear my Achilles running to the bathroom in one of those situations?
It's not an irrational fear because it's not irrational. Like, it's a fear.
Yeah.
But it could happen.
I feel like with your injury history, that's a rational fear.
Like,
Yeah.
I was running.
It's not an irrational fear. It's a rational fear.
Yes,
I've had
that's what I
I've had this.
Thank you.
I've had this nightmare, and it popped into my head as I was running down the steps going, what if I popped my other Achilles right now? Then I would just be lying on the ground crying, and my studio producer would be going, this is the 12th commercial I've played. I wonder where Daniel is.
The sponsors would be so happy.
Your studio producer is pretty solid, though. He'd figure something out.
That's true. I'm not sure what, but he would get
something
going.
and
Yeah.
probably.
Justin,
Maybe you could call him from your phone.
that would be a
finish the
good idea,
show.
but I'd also be crying. And
You'd have to soldier on.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
I'm enjoying the image of Daniel, like, injured, but finishing the post-game show on his
From his
phone.
phone. And the Montesano Bulldogs. Oh, they beat Toppenish. Live to play another week. Oh.
Oh, man. Justin, you had the privilege to also go to a state soccer game.
Yeah.
This is new.
I was
for us.
so thankful, actually, because when Montesano played their state soccer game on, I think it was Wednesday, I really wanted to go, but it's just hard, like, schedule-wise, when there's so much stuff going on to find, like, a good excuse to go watch other games and pay the, $10 of admission or whatever it costs to get into a state game. And there's enough time I don't see my family during the week that I was like, I couldn't make it work. So Ian texted me and was like, hey, Saturday state playoff game, I'm going to be out of town. Is there any chance you could fill in on PA? And I was like, I don't super know soccer and I've never really done PA before, but I want to watch the team. So yeah, I'll do it. So I did it, and I don't know if I did a good job or not, but I got to watch the soccer game.
Let us know.
Yeah,
Did
if
Justin
you
do
were
a
at
good
the
job?
soccer game, did I do a good job? I'll say,
Poll results. Did Justin do a good job?
Did you yell goal?
Goal!
No.
No.
I did
you do
not,
that?
but I
It
feel
doesn't
like
sound like you did a good job.
there
though.
was one goal in the game, and I felt like I announced it pretty enthusiastically.
Okay. Give us a taste of it. What was it like?
It was like Michaela Stanfield on the goal for the Montesano Bulldogs.
I mean, that's good, but you got to go ham on it. Think of
Have you
all.
not watched soccer?
Let me try again.
Think of all of the annoying PA announcers we've heard.
Yeah, but I don't like those people. I've never been to a game that Ian was the PA for, but I imagine he's really good at it.
Yeah.
But partly because I've broadcasted games with Ian, and he's just so professional.
Yeah.
That
exactly.
I feel like he'd be really good at PA. But he gave me, also, I'll say this about Ian, he was so prepared and willing to help someone who was filling in his spot that he gave me a very specific script.
Oh, nice.
So I was able to just like read through,
awesome.
Here's what Ian would say in this scenario. And then he also told me, all you do during the game is you announce subs and you announce goals. Well, in the first half, there were no goals. And the other thing I learned very quickly is that the numbers on the front side of a soccer jersey are tiny. And I did not have binoculars. So during the whole first half, I was trying to announce the subs that came into the game unsuccessfully. So I was like, everyone is sitting down there wondering, why the heck isn't this moron saying anything? So in the second half, and I had a spotter there with me, and we just kind of decided, okay, you know what? No matter what, we are announcing the subs. Even if it's 30 seconds late, we're going to do it. So we did. And I think it went pretty well in the second half. Thank you. I learned from my mistakes, and as we went along,
You made the adjustment.
I think we got better.
Yeah. There you go. What do you have to say about the play of the game?
Oh, there was play of the game. I forgot. I was just got really
He
self-centered
was
in that.
distracted looking
Yeah.
at numbers.
There was a little bit of narcissism involved there. I think Lakeside, which is who Montesano was playing against.
I have one memory of Lakeside. Sorry, all of these things trigger high school. Like, I'll save story time for a bit. So you get back into Lakeside. Lakeside.
Lakeside was extremely physical.
Okay.
And I've covered a decent amount of high school girls soccer locally, and I would describe our local high school girls soccer games as pretty physical.
Yeah.
This was like another level of physical. And it was to the point where there were several yellow cards handed out. There was a lot of penalties called during the game, or fouls. I'm not super great at soccer lingo, but there was a lot of times that there was something called where you got a free kick.
Yeah.
Not a penalty kick like inside the box, but like an indirect or direct free kick was awarded based on some contact
Just
that happened
the
on
fact
the play.
that you just said indirect or direct.
So I know things.
You were doing very well so far, sir.
Thank you.
Well
I
done.
appreciate it. So there was a lot of physical play. There was a lot of calls. The referees were very busy. And in the beginning of the game, I felt like Montesano might have been like a little shell shocked by it because they're much more of a like possession and passing team. Although they're really good defensively, they're just not super physical. They're more about controlling the ball.
Right.
And there was a few shots on goal for Lakeside early, maybe within the first 20 minutes or so. And then once things settled down, I think Montesano kind of adjusted into what type of game it was going to be. And they managed to get through that unscathed, largely because their defenders are really good and because Riley Timmons as a junior goalie is excellent. And she earned the clean sheet in this game, having gotten the shutout. But I think as the game went on, Montesano actually controlled possession for a lot of the middle portion of the game. The goal, which was scored by Michaela Stanfield, was actually a really cool play where Lily Causey, who's their other main striker, coming from the right side, dribbled through, made a really nice move to get through to where she could get a shot on goal. The shot was deflected, and then it bounced out to where there was an empty net, but there was like 3 or 4 players of different teams all around it, and Michaela like slid into the ball and kicked it into the empty net on the left side. And it was just such like, I felt like just instinctive, quick, natural athletic play by Michaela being set up by Lily Causey on that one was really cool. The end part of the game got a little adventurous because Montesano with that was in, I get bad about minutes. I think it's the 65th minute. There was 15 minutes left on the clock. And Montesano kind of shifted into a defensive set where they really only had one person down on the offensive side. And I don't know how it's just like a 5-4 or something on the defensive side where they were really shifting to that side, which meant that the last, I don't know, 10 or 12 minutes of the game really was played on the wrong end of the field.
Yeah.
And Lakeside had several opportunities for corner kicks and shots. A couple went right over the crossbar. Stoppage time felt like a billion years. And I was there with my wife, and she was my spotter. And I was trying to explain stoppage time to her. And it's a really weird concept, like in general, when you watch other sports to try to explain soccer stoppage time.
It really is.
So she was like, well, when's the game over? And I was like, whenever the referee says that the game is over.
Yep.
Well, how do you know when that's going to be? And I was like, well, we really don't. But I've watched people who know soccer really well, and they're able to estimate pretty accurately when stoppage time is going to be over. I'm not one of those people. So all of stoppage time, I was just super tense, just waiting as Lakeside got these opportunities. And there was a play right when it was right towards the end of stoppage time. Lakeside got a shot on goal. Riley Timmons lunged to one side and deflected it. And then the ball kind of bounced in front of her. So it was kind of just like right out there in front of the goal with a whole bunch of players all around it.
Yep.
Where a lot of times you see somebody run up and just punch it in. And then right as players were coming up to punch it in, Timmons reaches out and grabs the ball and pulls it in. Then once she has possession and she stands up, then the official calls the match.
I love it.
And it was just like pandemonium after that, just celebration at the Jack. Going back to the semifinals, I thought I was really impressed.
Rattle.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously Lily Causey and Michaela Stanfield playing their parts in that goal. Riley Timmons at keeper. I thought some other players that really stood out to me as making a lot of plays was Vanna Prom, who I think is a co-captain of the team, one of the captains of the team, senior midfielder. She made a lot of really nice plays. Bethany Henderson, I thought, played really well, and Hannah Bruland. There was just some really good team effort all across the board in this soccer match for Montesano. I thought Jaden King. I want to also mention Jaden King. I thought there was a lot of players who had impacts for them, but this was a team victory, and the great plays from Riley Timmons and then Michaela Stanfield ultimately ended up being the pivotal moments for the win.
That's a heck of a team and a heck of a group of players, and I'm glad that I'm going to see a lot of those players playing in basketball as well, so it'll be a lot of fun. But do you know who they're taking on next?
Yeah, they're playing La Jolla in the state semifinals. Right. La Jolla is the team that knocked them out last year in the state semifinals. They're the number 1 seed, and Montesano is the number 4 seed. That'll be it's in Shoreline, I think, on Saturday. I think that's what it is. So that's going to be a really tough test for this Montesano team. But again, this was a really tough test from Lakeside, which I think Lakeside came in and decided they were going to outmuscle Montesano, and in the end, it didn't work out.
Take that, Lakeside.
Yeah, Lakeside.
So it turns out I don't have a story that much about Lakeside. I've got a side story about Lakeside, but not one that I'm going to bring up. So. Okay. It was Riverside. It was Riverside that I was thinking of.
Well, Riverside is the team that knocked Montesano football out of the playoffs last year, so I don't have a lot of good things to say about Riverside.
Gotcha. Well, I knocked them out. I didn't knock them out of anything. I was on a team that knocked them out of the state playoffs.
Still counts.
Still counts. Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week. It's a tough one this week, man.
Yeah. We didn't have one individual player in either of our state playoff teams who was like stellar individually.
Yes. 2
great team wins with players who made good plays.
Yeah. The escalator of state tournament puts them in the conversation.
Right.
I feel like. To me, if you take all the escalators out, I'm leaning towards Michael Garcia, who had a schmat trick and an assist in the league-clinching win. That's his escalator.
Yeah.
Clinched the league. But it's not like a state tournament.
But it is league clinching.
That is true.
So for them, it's like, cause I don't even know if their league has playoffs.
I have no idea.
It's a club summer, and I think it's the first year of the league.
Yeah.
So we'll have to ask their coach for clarification on what happens after the regular season is over. But they are champions of that. What did I say? It is the lower. Hold on. The name of their league, the North Puget Sound League.
Okay.
They are champions of the 14U North Puget Sound League with that win.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So But Jaden also Caleb and Caleb played great games.
Yeah. Jaden McElravy and Caleb Ames for Montesano were the two players that I noted. Caleb because he had that great touchdown catch and then also the interception at a pivotal moment in the second half.
That was a big pick.
Jaden
and
because
that was the play I was forgetting. Was Caleb's pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then Jaden accounted for all 3 of Montesano's touchdowns, 2 with rushing on 1-yard plunges, and then the other with the pass to Caleb Ames. So that's a big one. Yardage totals aren't a ton, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that Monty's offense just didn't accumulate much in the second half because Toppenish was good.
And they also started with amazing field position most of the time.
Good point.
Like they started on Toppenish's side of the 50 a ton.
Right. And then I think the other nominations coming out of that Montesano soccer game were Michaela Stanfield for scoring the only goal in a really cool way. And then Riley Timmons also had a couple of really crucial saves. One of them in the first half, she had a diving save near the right side of a state quarterfinal game.
Which is understandable.
Right. And it was a really cool goal also.
It was.
Like just a really nice play.
Ty Reedinger had a good game.
That was the one. Okay, so full disclosure to those watching at home, I was really pressed for time today, and I literally stopped at one point filling out the show sheet. Ty Reedinger absolutely should be in here.
Yeah.
28 carries for 165 and a touchdown for RSB in their win over Goldendale.
This is a tough one, man. Do we go to the 3 votes?
I have a way that I'm leaning.
I know where I'm leaning. I don't know if Andrew's been paying attention.
I have not.
I lean towards...
Okay, so here's our nominations.
Okay.
We got Jaden McElravy, who accounted in some way or another for all of the touchdowns for Monty. He had, about 150 total yards?
Yeah, maybe a little less than that, but close.
We had Ty Reedinger, who had 28 carries for 165 yards for Raymond South Bend and a touchdown in their playoff win. We've got
157 total yards for Jaden.
Okay. So, and Reedinger was 165?
Yeah.
Okay. We've got Riley Timmons, who had a shutout in a state soccer game as a goalie.
A goalie, yeah.
And we have Michaela Stanfield, who had the only goal in that game. And we got Caleb Ames, who had a pick and a touchdown reception in the Montesano football game. And then we got Michael Garcia, who in the league-clinching win for their soccer league had 4 goals and an assist. Yeah, the Schmatrick.
Yeah.
So now you have all the information. I'm voting Michael Garcia, Schmatrick, and an assist, league-clinching win for the Grace Harbor Gulls.
What happens if I
Club.
vote for someone that you guys didn't vote for? Since there's more than 2 options.
Then we go 3-way tie.
You guys probably should have narrowed it down to 2 before
Actually,
you asked
No,
me.
I'm
that's
gonna-
the thing. Like, we have so many good candidates here.
I don't think we're going to run into that because I'm also going to go with Michael Garcia because
then it's easy.
As we go through this and I'm looking at it.
That's for my input in the first place.
Well, we needed. You know what? Actually,
I thought Justin was going to go Monty Homer and pick one of the Bulldogs. That's why I was bringing you into it.
with a full apology to
Well, it was
Caleb
good to have the summary.
and Jaden and Michaela and Riley.
Yeah.
This
You're
performance,
just stabbing right in the back.
Michael Garcia, who for those who don't know is an 8th grader in Hoquiam
Yeah.
and plays on this Grays Harbor Gulls 14U team, has been putting up performances like this all season. And we haven't been able to give him Athlete of the Week because every week there's always like somebody who is stellar.
Yep.
And this week, even with the escalators of state playoff games, I don't feel like there was one standout that was so much to overshadow 4 goals and an assist in a league-clinching game.
Yep.
So I'm going to say we go Michael Garcia.
I like it.
Me too.
All right.
We went soccer
Congratulations.
and Hoquiam.
Wow. I feel good
Don't
right
ever
now.
Actually
say
feel-
we didn't do anything for you, Daniel.
I actually feel really good about it too because every week I've felt just a little bit bad that this kid, like,
He's been dominant.
23 goals in 9 games.
It's stupid.
I think
a
I
lot of
saw,
goals.
Don't quote me on this, but in their league, I think he's outscored like 4 or 5 teams. by himself. And they have only allowed, as a team, they've only allowed 5 goals in 9 games, and he scored 23.
That's awesome.
So this kid has been putting up numbers all year that were deserving of Athlete of the Week, and the fact that we're finally getting around to naming him Athlete of the Week, I think it's due.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Sounds like a certified net getter.
I think you're right.
I like it.
I love it.
Certified net getters.
Michael
Awesome.
Garcia, you are Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week and possibly a certified net getter. Yeah, congratulations.
Andrew might have just invented something.
I love it.
Although, does any of us really know soccer well enough to be able to make that?
I mean, I played for 13
A
years.
third of your life.
And yet, you would think that I would have more knowledge about it, but I don't.
Well,
First third of his life, unfortunately.
I think the fact that you were impressed by me for knowing direct and indirect free kicks means that you know a lot about soccer.
More than I remember.
I just assumed you were making things up.
No, it's real.
All right, I think that's going to do it for our show today.
Agreed.
Again, congratulations to both the Montesano Bulldogs football and soccer team for advancing to state. The volleyball team as well. Sorry that you guys are already done at that tournament. And again, congratulations to Michael Garcia for the Grace Harbor Gulls FC for your Ole
And
Penn
the
Real
Raymond South Bend football team.
Yes, who are taking on PL Willapa Valley.
In Montesano.
What time? Do we know
At
yet?
7 on Friday.
Yes.
Which I'm going to say with 80% likelihood that I will be there because I really want to watch that.
I really
want to
too.
watch that.
Yeah, we might all be there.
Yeah.
That's going to be good.
Wreaking havoc.
Are we gonna have to like watch from the woods though? Like, how full is that stadium?
Well, perfect
Like,
for you because
dude,
you live in the woods.
There are so many. Like,
The
I know
whole town, there's 4 towns that are going to be
That's
there.
what I'm saying.
4 full towns are going to be there.
But also,
An entire county.
they usually, in Montesano, they usually keep the track open. And a lot of the antsy dads like me who can't sit still during a game will just walk around the track and watch from whatever the best vantage point is. So even if the stadium grandstands don't have adequate seating, there's enough room.
Okay, so
I'm
the entire
wondering
track will
if
be
there's
full.
going to be enough room.
There'll be enough room.
Still,
There'll be enough room.
I don't know. I've been to the county fair at Menlo.
there were tens of
It's
people.
underwhelming.
There might be that many people at this
It's not a
game.
great fair.
I don't know. It was kind of a fun fair.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like Menlo. I like Pacific County. It's just not a good fair.
Ouch.
Sorry, Pat County. I'd rather go to the Lewis County Fair.
What is it that makes a good fair for you, Justin?
The
Is
food
it
stamps.
Oh, I thought the food stands were pretty good. Is it exclusively the carnival?
Would
I
it
feel like
be-
it might be the carnival that
would it-
makes it for you.
It was lacking in carnival.
Would
there
it be-
was not a carnival.
Would it be
this
really
year.
unfair that I said that if I tell you now that I went there 2 times, maybe 15 years ago?
No,
Okay.
it probably hasn't changed much.
Put it on the poll.
Except that there
Has the
wasn't a
Pacific-
carnival this year.
Has the Pacific County Fair changed much in the last 15 years?
I don't think so. All right, that's going to do it for our show today. So for my co-host, Justin, the silent PA announcer. Wait, I guess, is it public address? Is that
It's a PA.
Yeah.
But also, I
Silent
feel like
PA,
sometimes you
Tom
have
Shevitz.
to add the announcer at the end
Yeah.
or people don't understand what you're
That's
talking
true.
about. And for my co-host, Daniel Hargrove, who once again I failed to come up with a nickname for because I'm bad at this.
And our trusty producer, Andrew, lives in the woods. Gross.
We've used that one before.
I know. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of anything.
I
actually like it,
literally
though.
started the show with poop on my shoe.
The poo shoe! The poop shoe.
Oh, you've been listening to
He's the one
Scrimmage.
who remembered it. That's really that's shameful.
I mean, he's the one who had poop on his shoe.
Good point.